Howdy everybody, it's Booger with Booger and Zeke's Welding Emporium. Today we've got a twofer for you. One in a separate video, Zeke actually did something and did a video about it. So I'll be posting that separately. You can watch Zeke's video. He does drop a number of big hints about his identity in that video, and then there's one in this video that I'm gonna talk about here in just a second as well. Yeah, and of course you don't see Zeke's face in any of them, but again, it'll be a little more clear here in just a minute. So that's that video that Zeke made. Now, the video I'm gonna make is about him to some extent, but here's the thing. He sent me something that he's going to be selling, and I'm going to talk about that here in just a second, or at the end, about where he's going to be selling this. But the thing is that, and again, I'm hesitating here because I think there's going to be some folks who are really shocked about what I have to say, and I hope to explain a number of things about it. But so what Zeke has decided that he's going to sell is he's going to sell the prototype multiphasic photonic nanomodulator phlogisticator, or the MP2NP. Now this is a prototype. It's not the original prototype, okay? For those of y'all who are familiar with these devices, you probably are aware that the original prototype was destroyed in the USS Philadelphia event. But this is really the, if you want to call it, the second generation prototype. It is not the production version, and there were some improvements that were made to the production version that this one doesn't have. So this really is kind of the prototype. It was developed and built. Again, if you're familiar with this, you probably already know Friedrich von Flugenschwein, an Austrian scientist, conceptualized it, designed it, and built these devices. So this actually is, again, Flugenschwein's design, and he built this. So you're probably wondering, well, how in the world did Zeke get a hold of this? Well, Zeke's parents were good friends with von Flugenschwein's family, and when Zeke was young, he had an interest in things, you know, just tinkering, you know, and so when von Flugenschwein died, he left this box of stuff to Zeke in his will. And, you know, Zeke didn't know what it was and had no warning about it. And so when he went and collected the box after the will was executed, nobody knew what was inside the box. It was just like a big old steamer trunk, and it hadn't been opened in a long time. And Zeke told me he opened it up, and it smelled, you know, like old stuff. And sure enough, he opened it up, and there's a bunch of old newspapers in there, and some tools and some this and that. It's just kind of, you know, little stuff for tinkerers. But then he saw this thing in a clear box, and it looked really complicated inside, but he didn't know what it was. And this was, I don't know, about 20 years ago, I guess. And he didn't know what it was. Anyway, this is a really long story. I'm trying not to make it quite so long. Zeke found out what it was, and he and I were talking about it. He's had it, I mean, Zeke's known about it for a few years, and we were talking about it. And he didn't know what to do with it, and I suggested that he sell it. Well, of course, if this was the production version, this would be covered by all kinds of federal laws and military protection, top secret, all that kind of stuff. But one of the things that we investigated was, since it was a prototype, and it did have some differences from the prototype to the production version, did that make any difference? And sure enough, what we found out is that this particular device, there is an exclusion buried in law somewhere that allows for this to be not covered. I guess I should say it excludes it from the prohibition on sale for sale to the general public, because it doesn't have everything in it, and all the design isn't final and all that kind of thing. So Zeke has decided to sell it. So he sent it to me, and you know, I've only seen pictures of an MP2 NP. I've never seen one in real life, and the pictures that I saw were fairly suspect, and a lot of them were hand drawn. You know, with this kind of ultra high security, kind of scary techno stuff. But so I didn't quite understand, or at all understand, what I was looking at. I'm not particularly familiar with von Flugenschwein's principles or work or anything like that. And frankly, Zeke isn't all that either. He just was friends of the family. So anyway, I've got it, and I've kind of done a little bit of messing around with it. I'm a little bit scared of it, as you might understand. I can't show you the device, and the reason why is so this particular device is in a clear plastic or plexiglass. I don't know if they had plexiglass back then, but it's in maybe acrylic. I don't know. It's in a box, clear material box, so you can see the inside. Now, part of this law, this exclusion, kind of protects or prevents the showing, the public showing of the inner workings of the device. It's supposed to be in something that you're not supposed to be able to open, and you can't see the insides. But I guess because this was a prototype, and von Flugenschwein needed to see what was going on inside of it, it's in a clear box. So I can't show it to you because that would be a violation of federal law. But what I do have is, part of what I was able to do was I kind of bypassed the on sensor, the trigger, and I was able just to hook up, and I'm only using 110 because I didn't want to go full power on it. But I was able to hook up an old-fashioned motor start switch to it. So I done that, and I tested it, and the good thing is nothing happened, right? Because if this would have been full power and in the right conditions, then we would have seen some time waves, and I have no idea what would have happened with that. I mean, all I know is what happened on the Philadelphia. So I'm not about to try it myself. I just wanted to make sure that it powered up to some extent, and I'll admit I was scared as hell the first time I pushed this button. But fortunately, nothing happened. Nothing at all happened. But since this is a prototype, and again, some of the improvements were made in additional versions. One of those is that, and this doesn't affect me, but from reading some of the materials and doing some research, this still does have the ferret aggravation cycle in it. So if you do have pet ferrets, or if you have any ferrets around, you probably don't want to fire this thing up anywhere around them, because it will aggravate them, and I don't even know what will happen. But I don't have any, so it's not anything that affected me at all. Anyway, So that's a long story. I thought what I would do is just go ahead. I can't show you the device, but what I can do is hit power real quick, and hopefully nothing will happen. If the video goes really wonky, or if you start hearing some really strange noises, or if there's some vibrations, then we know I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna turn it off as quickly as I can, assuming that I can. That means that we've hit the resonance and the time waves, which is what I'm trying to prevent. So, okay, you ready? Hopefully, I'll push this. You'll hear a click of the motor control switch, and then that's it. Okay, here we go. Oh, I forgot. Safety, right? I didn't want to. There we go. I didn't want to have this thing plugged in and have me accidentally hit the switch before I was ready while I was talking. Okay, ready? Here we go. Oh. Ooh. Okay. I think everything's okay. Things got a little weird there for a second. But I feel like everything's okay. I'll go back and review the video. If the video shows any shifts that I didn't perceive myself, then I guess I'll find out in a few days what happened, if anything happened. So anyway, okay, take that out. So I have it, like I say, I've had it and did a little bit of making sure it wasn't going to explode just by plugging it into the wall. Zeke has it for sale. Again, because of the federal requirements, it can only be sold to somebody with the proper license, and you have to pick it up. We can't ship. You have to pick it up, and you have to have not only the proper license, but you also have to have the correct armed military escort and proper vehicle. If you're at all interested in this, then you know what I'm talking about, and you've got access to it. So that's number one. Now the other thing is where to get it. Zeke actually has it listed on his Etsy site. It's, normally his Etsy site is handmade women's silk blouses and responsibly sourced men's athletic supporters. But he's got it listed there, and if you want to bid on it, or I don't know how Etsy works, honestly. I don't know if you bid or buy it outright. He handles that stuff, and I don't have any involvement with it. But that's where it is. If you're interested, go ahead and submit an inquiry or a bid or whatever. And remember, we're gonna have to verify your license, and we're gonna have to verify your access to the military escort before we can release it. So there you go, everybody. Thanks for watching, and look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.